Hi, I'm Dan from Eflowtion Support Services, and welcome to this EFT tapping on resolving defense mechanisms. Defense mechanisms are those unconscious habits that perpetuate through our life, that when we perceive a threat in the form of any form of criticism, we result to old behaviors where we go into a defensive nature. But the key word there is perceiving. Some things are not actually threats towards us. They may actually be there to help us grow and learn more about ourselves. So let's do an EFT tapping on resolving defense mechanisms. So taking full responsibility for your own well-being and repeating after me. Let's go with the flow. Let's begin to tap. Even though I have these defense mechanisms, that when someone says something to me that makes me feel vulnerable, I want to push that away to avoid that responsibility and to avoid feeling this pain. And I'm open to loving and accepting myself, even though these defense mechanisms from my past experiences of when I learnt that when I was in trouble, I may have been made to feel pain. And in my present experiences may be different to my past experiences. It may be preventing me from learning about myself and having new experiences in life. And I'm open to loving and accepting myself, even though it really doesn't feel good when I'm made to feel insecure. But rather than building more insecurity, I might start to address these defense mechanisms that are preventing me from building a secure self. And I'm open to loving and accepting myself. All these defense mechanisms, all these defense mechanisms, all these unconscious things in my past, all these things that are driving me in the future, protecting me from these perceived threats. I don't like to be criticized, and I see it as that. There may be feedback or things that other people have that are trying to be expressed to me. They may have their own wants and needs that I might not be aware that I'm not fulfilling. And when they express this to me, I perceive this as a threat, that I'm doing something wrong, that I might be a failure. And in order to not feel this feeling, this racing heart, this tightness in my chest, this surge of panic, I start to push away and start to build blueprints and walls based upon things that happened to me in the past. I might start to avoid this conflict altogether by not accepting my responsibilities and starting to push the other person away, not hearing what they have to say, denying their voice, denying their emotional needs, denying their experiences that are trying to be expressed to me. But what's being expressed doesn't make me feel too good. And these defense mechanisms may have been modeled to me by my caregivers, where I witness behaviors or experience behaviors where wherever there was conflict, they refused to take accountability. They refused to take responsibility. They may have yelled at shopkeepers, yelled at people who tried to give them advice, yelled at anyone who tried to address these behaviors. And in my development, within my blueprint of life, I witnessed these behaviors from my caregivers. And I may have been the scapegoat to this. Anything that was at hand may have got the back of hand, and I may have been the scapegoat to these avoidant behaviors, to these defense mechanisms. And in my sponge-like mind, I started to learn what it was to be like around any form of accountability. It's better to push away than to deal with. And unfortunately, the more that I push away, the more that I push down. And the more that I don't take accountability for my actions, the more that my reactions perpetuate. Perhaps I want to learn new behaviors. That when someone says something to me, I don't find rational reasons to justify my irrational reactions by coming up with narratives and a twisting of truth in order to make it feel better within my mind of when someone said something to me that actually might improve my growth. Not all feedback is an attack. Not all criticism and not all other people's feelings are my failures. And I might feel like a failure when this is brought to my attention. I might perceive it as I did something wrong and I'm a failure because of that. Pushing away this pain doesn't mean out of sight, out of mind. It may actually narrow my field of view of how I view life based upon old experiences that happened to me, where I may have been made to feel the failure because other people couldn't accept their responsibilities. I'm learning and growing within myself. I'm learning that all perceived threats may be a perception of how I'm viewing this. Perhaps I don't want to view it this way. Perhaps I want to change my perception into more of a reception of other people's needs and experiences. That might actually help me grow. All this anger that I feel, all this anger that serves as this defense mechanism that blocks my path and prevents me from learning more things. Because I might be relearning that dominating others gets the results that I want, which might not be a good lesson to learn, because it might have been a lesson that I learned in the past. I don't want the actions of the past to dictate my future or my relationships with others. These defense mechanisms, I'm bringing it to my awareness as anything that I'm aware of and truly care about. I can start to resolve and start to break that cycle and start to develop new behaviors and more healthy coping mechanisms and develop more healthier relationships where I don't cause harm within myself and I don't cause harm to other people's needs and experiences. I'm proud of myself for acknowledging this within myself. It was not nice to experience in my past, so I don't want it to allow to control my future. I'm changing these behaviors to create a better self within myself. And that may have not been allowed by those people in the past who didn't take on that responsibility. The ability to respond to life's growths, life's changes, and new life experiences that are not held back by the past. These unconscious behaviors. I might not like that it's unconscious because it's outside of my control. I'm tapping away the stress and the intensity of these reactions so that the unconscious doesn't take control. I'm discharging this charge behind these triggers that tend to fire off when someone makes a criticism or some feedback or starts to express their needs. I'm expressing for myself by acknowledging that this doesn't feel good within myself. And the narratives that I tell, these comforting mistruths, I'm starting to be truthful with myself, and acknowledging some situations that I can do better in some situations, which is not an acknowledgement of failure. It's a responsiveness to growth. I'm not good at all things, but I can get a little bit better in some areas. And within these areas of growth, my relationship to myself and my relationship to others may also grow as well. I'm resolving these defense mechanisms, improving my coping mechanisms, and my responsiveness to life as I respond to my own needs and being better at responding to others in mind, body, and spirit. And taking a full breath in and out. So yes, defense mechanisms are those things from our past where we feel that we can be under attack when we have a feedback given towards us or that other people are expressing their needs that we might not be fully meeting. And rather than perceiving it as in, oh wow, it's like they're attacking me sort of thing, it's more getting that responsiveness to between the reactiveness to actually go, oh, actually they are expressing something that I might be getting better at actually improving towards meeting that need and meeting that need within myself. And of course, there's people that will attack, and there's good defense mechanisms where we can actually prevent ourselves from harm. But when it comes to just daily interactions, the more that we push away, the more that we prevent ourselves from actually knowing a little bit more about ourselves and developing that self-awareness of areas that we can improve upon. And it's always good to improve upon in life because it opens up more opportunities to things. So I offer EFT tapping one-on-one online to downregulate stress and also to limit the things that are creating roadblocks in our life. So we want to become a little bit more limitless in our potential in life. So check out eflotionsupportservices.com for one-on-one EFT tapping services online. And until the next one, bye for now. I'm going to go respond to my cat's needs as he is meowing his head off in the background. He hasn't made an appearance in the video, so but he is making his presence known. So I'll go respond to that. Until the next one, bye for now.